You don't fall behind because you're not talented. You fall behind because consistency asks more of you than talent ever will. Talent gets attention. Consistency builds outcomes. But that's the difference, and that difference matters more than we admit. We tend to overvalue ability and undervalue repetition. We look at people who perform at a super high level and assume that they're just gifted or lucky or wired differently. But what we rarely see is the structure behind the output, because consistency doesn't look impressive in the moment. It looks boring, repetitive. It looks like doing the same thing long after the excitement wears off. Here's how this shows up in real life. In business, it sounds like this. You post when you feel inspired. You follow up when things are slow. You work your systems when there's time. And when results stall, you assume that the problem is strategy. But more often, it's actually rhythm. In real estate, this is so common. One week, you're on top of your follow-up game. The next week, deals pick up and everything starts to slip. Not because you don't know what to do, but it's because consistency loses to urgency. And urgency always feels more important in the moment. This shows up at home too. You set expectations with your kids. I do it all the time. And then you let them slide because it's been a long day and you just don't feel like dealing with it. You want routines, but you break them when it's inconvenient or you're just tired. And over time, the inconsistency teaches something that you did not intend. Not flexibility, uncertainty. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Consistency isn't hard because it's complicated. It's hard because it removes novelty. It asks you to show up when there's no immediate reward, when nobody else is watching, when it would be easier to simply skip. That's why talent alone doesn't scale. High output over time is rarely about effort. It's about structure. The people who perform consistently don't rely on motivation. They rely on decisions that they made earlier. They decide when the work happens, what good enough looks like, and what happens when they don't even feel like it. That's not even discipline. It's actually design. Let me translate this for you. When consistency feels hard, it's usually because behavior still depends on mood, your energy, your inspiration, your timing. And anything that depends on mood is going to eventually break. This is where leverage quietly shows up. Leverage isn't about doing more. It's about removing the need to decide each time. When consistency becomes automatic, output compounds. Not because you're trying harder, but because fewer things rely on your willpower. So here's one move that will make this real for you. Pick just one behavior that would meaningfully change your results if it happened consistently. Just one. Decide when it happens and remove the decision from the moment. Same day, same time, same trigger. Not because it's optimal, but because it's repeatable. And let it be imperfect. Consistency beats polish every time. You've probably heard it said that done is better than perfect. Because over time, people don't respond to isolated moments of excellence. They respond to patterns. And patterns are built through repetition, not intensity. If you're building a business, leading a team, or setting expectations at home, all of this matters. Talent might get you noticed once, but consistency is what keeps the doors open. If this episode reframed how you think about output, go ahead and share it with somebody who's talented but tired of starting over. You're listening to The Leverage Lounge. You can watch this on Facebook or YouTube, or even listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Remember, consistency isn't exciting, but it's how everything meaningful gets built. We'll see you next time.